Armstrong, and this is Pointless, the quiz show where the lowest scorers are the biggest winners. To stay in the game, our contestants need to score as few points as possible. And the way they do that is by giving those obscure answers that no one else can remember. We've asked all our questions on Pointless to 100 people before the show. All our contestants need to do is find those little-known answers as few of our 100 people gave as possible. For example, we gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many countries in Asia as they could. And we found out that 78 of them said China, an obvious answer that would score you a horribly high 78 points. However, only 22 of them said Malaysia, a less obvious country that would score you a respectably low 22 points. Now, occasionally there are even some answers that none of our 100 people could name. So, for example, none of them said Bhutan. So that would have been a truly pointless country, and that would score you absolutely nothing. That's what you want. If you find any of those, then we will add £250 to today's jackpot. So let's meet today's players. Welcome, Maureen and Barbara. You are our first pair on the show. How do you two know each other?
We've known each other for about 15 years. A couple of years ago, we set up a murder mystery company together with a friend of ours.
That is fantastic. Well, very best of luck. I hope you do very well this afternoon. Paul and Lisa, we give everyone 2 chances to reach the Pointless final, and this is your second and final chance. Remind us how you two know each other.
We went to uni and college together.
Very good. And how did you get on last time?
We got to the 4th round.
You got to the head-to-head.
Yeah.
Sylvia and Margaret, welcome back. It's also your second and final chance on the show. Remind us who you are.
We're sister-in-laws for about 30 years and the best of friends.
A warm welcome back to you. Welcome to Darren and Craig. How do you two know each other?
Well, we're brothers, as you can probably tell. We work together as well, and we also hate each other.
Hate each other? Well, it's going to make for a spicy show this afternoon. Very best of luck to you. And finally, welcome back to Sarah and Hannah. This is your second and final time on the show too. Remind us how you two know each other.
We are sisters and also, for our sins, business partners.
What do you do?
We run a corporate events company, so we do arts-based team-building events for corporate clients.
Splendid. Of course, there is one final person I must introduce. He is the man in the know, the man with all the pointless facts and figures. He is my pointless friend. It's Richard. And Richard, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Very well indeed.
Good. As you say, I'm in the know. I've got all the questions for today's show right here. I've also got all the answers. I should say, you don't know any of the answers on today's show. You don't know any of the questions. Best of luck, everyone, and best of luck at home.
Thanks very much, Richard. The jackpot hasn't been won for the last 4 shows, so it rolls over, and today's jackpot total is £5,500. And we are really hoping that one of our pairs will be taking that home at the end of today's show. And remember, if you find some pointless answers along the way, each one of those will add £250 to that amount. OK, let's play Pointless. In the first round, each of you must give me one answer, and you cannot confer with your partner. You will score 1 point for every one of the 100 people that gave that same answer. And please remember, this is Pointless. You're trying to find the least well-known answers and score the fewest points. Now, if anyone gives me an incorrect answer, they will score the maximum of 100 points, so do be careful. If you do give an incorrect answer, this will happen. And you really don't want that to happen. At the end of the round, your combined score will be totalled up and the highest scoring pair will be eliminated. Only 2 pairs obviously make it through to our head-to-head semi-final, so the pressure is really on. OK, our first category is film. OK, can you decide in your pairs who's going to go first, who's going to go second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many feature films starring Johnny Depp as they could. OK, Richard, can you be any more specific?
It's gone down well, hasn't it? We're looking for any feature film for cinema release for which Johnny Depp received an acting credit. We're not looking for short films, TV films or documentaries or anything where he appeared as himself, and obviously nothing that has yet to be released. There are 37 films on the list.
Right, Maureen and Barbara, before the show you all drew lots, and today it turns out you will be starting us off. Maureen, a nice Johnny Depp film.
Peter Pan.
Peter Pan. Remember, you are looking to score as few points as possible. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Peter Pan. Oh dear, unfortunately, that is a wrong answer. That means you score 100 points. Maureen, bad luck. OK, on to our next pair. Lisa, we're looking for a Johnny Depp film, the more obscure the better, but preferably one that he has been in.
I'm gonna have to say Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. OK, let's see how many of our 100 people said that. It's good. Down it comes. Ooh! Not bad. That means 17 of our 100 people said Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That gives you a nice low score of 17. Sylvia.
I think there's one called Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Oh, that could be good. That could be just the kind of obscure film we're looking for. Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Let's hope it's a film starring Johnny Depp, and let's see how many of our 100 people said it. It's brilliant. And down it goes. Really? That means none of our 100 people said Once Upon a Time in Mexico, and it adds £250 to today's jackpot. That takes it up to £5,750. Brilliant, Sylvia. Rich, Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Yeah, that's a brilliant answer. Robert Rodriguez movie where Johnny Depp stars with Antonio Banderas. It's in the El Mariachi trilogy.
On to our next pair. Craig, a Johnny Depp film.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Let's see how many of our 100 people said What's Eating Gilbert Grape. It's right. Down it goes. It's good. It's very good. That means only 7 of our 100 people said What's Eating Gilbert Grape. On to our final pair, Sarah and Hannah. Sarah, your turn.
I think I'm going to go out on a limb and hope that I've got the name of it right, and I think it's Benny and June.
Benny and June. Let's see how many said Benny and June. It's good. Down it goes. Look at that! That means that none of our 100 people said Benny and June, and it adds £250 to today's jackpot, taking the total up to a whopping £6,000. Terrifying. So, Richard, Benny and June.
Yeah, Benny and June, another fantastic answer. A 1993 movie in which he plays Sam.
Well, we're halfway through the round. Let's have a look at the scoreboard and see how we're doing. Wow, we are neck and neck at the top. Sarah and Hannah and Sylvia and Margaret on 0. A fantastic low score for both of you. Keep up that low scoring and I'm sure you'll all be in the next round. Then Maureen and Barbara, oh dear, way out ahead on 100. OK, we're going to come back down the line. Can the second players please take their places at the podium? OK, Hannah, we are looking for feature film starring Johnny Depp. You are currently on 0, a fantastic low score. Our high scorers, as I say, are Barbara and Maureen on 100. To avoid overtaking them, you have to score 99 or less with this answer.
I do have one that I suspect may also be a pointless answer, but I'm a little bit worried now with the definition.
Go for it. You can afford it. You can afford it.
I'm going to give it a go and say The Libertine.
Excellent. Let's see how many of our 100 people said The Libertine. It's good. A lovely low score. Look at that. Bad luck, not a pointless, but still a good score. That means only 3 of our 100 people said The Libertine. That takes your total up to 3. You are definitely in the next round. On to our next pair. Darren. We are looking for films starring Johnny Depp. You are currently on 7. To avoid overtaking Barbara and Maureen and becoming the new high scorers, you want to score 92 or less with this answer. Here's your red line, and if you come below that red line, you are definitely in the next round. Above that red line, you become the high scorers and risk elimination.
I would like to say Sleepy Hollow.
Let's see how many of our 100 people said Sleepy Hollow. It's good, you're through. Down it comes. Very good, that means only 12 of our 100 people said Sleepy Hollow. That takes your score up to 19. On to our next pair, Margaret. Sylvia scored a pointless. Can you equal that?
I very much doubt it. The only film I can think of, and I'm not sure it was him, but I think it was, is Chocolat.
Let's see how many of our 100 people said Chocolat. It's good, you're through. It's a lovely low score. Look at that. That means only 5 of our 100 people said Chocolat. That takes your total up to 5. You are through to the next round. On to our next pair, Paul. You are currently on 17. To avoid overtaking Barbara and Maureen on their high score of 100, you want to score 82 or less with this. There is your red line. Below that red line, you are waltzing through to the next round.
Okay, I have a couple, but I think I'm going to go for this one, Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd, you say? Let's see how many of our 100 people said Sweeney Todd. It's good. It's bad news for Barbara and Maureen. Very good indeed. That means only 11 of our 100 people said Sweeney Todd. That takes your score up to 28. And bad luck, Barbara and Maureen. That means you are definitely leaving us at the end of this round. You are our high scorers. However, why not see if you could selflessly come up with a pointless answer and add something to the jackpot? Little parting gift.
Pirates of the Caribbean. I've no idea.
Let's put it to our 100 people and say Pirates of the Caribbean. How many of our 100 people thought Johnny Depp was in that?
Oh, dear.
Oh. He was in it. He was in it. And I'm afraid 66 of our 100 people said it, which takes your total up to an unbeatable 166. I'm afraid that means you are off the show. That was a tough category, wasn't it? What would you have loved to have had as a category, ideally?
Don't know. Anything. General knowledge, anything.
Richard, what answers should they have come up with?
There were a few pointless answers here. I'll take you through some of the more obvious ones. Well done if you've got any of these at home.
I know one.
Go on.
I don't think I've ever been right when I've said this.
No.
He was in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Do you know what? Shall we find out if he was?
Yeah.
OK. Nightmare on Elm Street. Well done.
Get it.
Yeah. That's his first film role. He plays the boyfriend. He gets murdered while he falls asleep watching telly. Also, Public Enemies, which is, of course, the John Dillinger story. Platoon he was in, played obviously a young soldier in that. That was pointless. I think people didn't remember he was in it. Let's take a look at a couple more. Ed Wood, he was in that. Dead Man he was in, and Donnie Brasco was pointless, where he plays Donnie Brasco himself, the undercover cop. Let's take a look at the most obvious answers you could have given. We've already had from Lisa, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That was the third most obvious answer. Second was Edward Scissorhands, of course. And despite the fact he's got such a small role in it, the most popular answer was Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl.
Thanks, Richard. OK, Maureen and Barbara, remember, everyone gets 2 chances to reach our pointless final, so we'll see you again next time for your final chance. Thanks so much for playing. You've been great. For the remaining 4 pairs, though, it's time for round 2. OK, guys, the round 2 category is flags. OK, can you decide in your pairs who's going to go first, who's going to go second? And will whoever's going first please step up to the podium? Now, remember, Pointless is all about scoring the fewest points. You need to rack your brains for those obscure, unheard-of answers you think the fewest of our 100 people said. With that in mind, let's find out what the question is. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many national flags with stars as they could. Richard, fill us in.
Yeah, pretty tough one, this. We're looking for any national flag, the usual national flag of a country that contains at least 1 star. Suns don't count as stars for this particular question. And you might be amazed to learn there are 64 flags on this list.
64?
Yeah, I can think of 2 of them. That's about it.
Lisa, We're looking for national flags with stars on.
Right, I kind of got an inkling about Turkey.
Turkey.
Yeah, so I'm gonna
Oh
say
dear, you've just taken the choice of at least 2 of your rivals. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Turkey. Well done, Lisa. It's good, it's low. That means 13 of our 100 people said Turkey. That starts us off with a nice low score for Lisa and Paul of 13. On to our next pair. Sylvia, you dazzled us before with your pointless answer.
Not this time.
Let's see if you can do it again. We're looking for national flags with stars.
Sweden.
OK, let's see how many of our 100 people said Sweden. If it's incorrect, it will score the maximum of 100 points. Oh, dear. Unfortunately, that is a wrong answer, which means you do score 100 points. What star are we thinking of? Ulrika Johnson?
Yes, probably.
Oh, dear, oh, dear. Richard, Sweden.
Yeah, it's a yellow cross on a blue background, I'm afraid. No stars.
On to our next pair. Craig.
I'd say off the top of my head, I'd say Russia.
Russia. OK, let's see if Russia is correct. And if it is, how many of our 100 people said it? Bad luck. I'm afraid that also is a wrong answer. You score the maximum of 100. Oh, a bit of a lifeline for Sylvia and Margaret there. You're not alone. Richard, Russia.
Yeah, it's 3 vertical stripes, white, blue, red, the Russian flag.
Bad luck, Craig. Sarah.
I'm just going to go for the very obvious and hope that not 100 people said America. USA.
Let's see how many of our 100 people said the USA. Yes, exactly. It's 5 better than 100. Yes, that means 95 of our 100 people said the USA, and I'm afraid that gives you 95 points. Well, we are halfway through the round. Let's have a look at the scoreboard. It's an interesting scoreboard with Darren and Craig and Sylvia and Margaret with 100 points apiece. Only 5 behind them, Sarah and Hannah on 95, but then way, way, way out ahead with a lovely low score of 13, Lisa and Paul. Keep up that low scoring and you'll definitely be in the next round. OK, we're going to come back down the line. Will the second players please take their places at the podium? So we are looking for national flags with stars, Hannah. You are currently on 95. You're not the highest scorers, but on 95, if you want to avoid becoming the highest scorers, you want to score 4 or less with this answer. What are you going to say?
I'm going to play it safe and go for the second most obvious answer and say Australia.
Here is your red line coming in. Oh, there it is. I don't know if you can see it. If you get below that red line, then you are definitely through to the next round. Above that red line, and I'm afraid you become the high scorers and risk elimination. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Australia. Nope. Well, that means 62 of our 100 people said Australia. That takes your score up to 157. You are our new high scorers, but the round is not over yet. Darren, we are looking for national flags with stars. You are currently on 100. Obviously, Hannah and Sarah are on 157. You want to score 56 or less with this answer if you want to get through to the next round. There is your red line. If you get below that red line, you are definitely through to the next round.
China.
Let's see how many of our 100 people said China. It's good. You're through. Very good. Well done, Darren. That means only 25 of our 100 people said China. That gives you a total of 125 and sees you comfortably through to the next round. Margaret, you are on 100. Hannah and Sarah are our high scorers on 157. You want to score 56 or less with this answer to ensure a place in the next round. What's it going to be?
I'm going to say Brazil.
Let's see how many of our 100 people said Brazil. It's good. It's very good. You're through. It's better than very good. Look at that. Only 6 of our 100 people said Brazil. That gives you a rather impressive low score of 106 in the context. You look very surprised by that, Margaret. You are through to the next round. Richard, Brazil.
The Brazilian flag has got a blue globe in the middle of it, and on that blue globe there are white stars twinkling away.
OK, well, that is very bad news for Sarah and Hannah because it means they are now so far in front that even if Paul and Lisa get 100 points, they still won't overtake their high score. But hey, Paul, chance for you to find another pointless answer and add £250 to our jackpot.
OK, this is my specialised subject, flags. So I have about 3 in my head, and because we're now safe, I think I'm going to risk it. I'm going to go for Mexico.
Let's see if Mexico is a correct answer, and if it is, let's see how many of our 100 people said it.
You're not very good with your specialised subject.
Oh, dear, Paul. Unfortunately, that's a wrong answer, which means you scored 113, but you're still safe.
Mexico is it's green, white, red with a little eagle on the white.
Sadly. So at the end of round 2, the losing pair with the highest score is Sarah and Hannah. Bad luck. That was really harsh, wasn't it? It was a tough category.
Yeah, really tough.
Richard, what answers should they have come up with?
There were, as you can imagine, any number of pointless answers here. There were over 40 pointless answers. Well done if you've got any of these at home. Let's take a look at a few of them. Algeria, Liberia, which has a lone star to represent the fact it was the first independent republic in Africa. Ethiopia, which has 1 yellow star, which represents peace, natural wealth and love. There's 3 others. Tunisia, Uzbekistan, which has 12 stars, 1 for each sign of the zodiac. And our old friend, the Central African Republic, which has been a pointless answer more than any other country in the world. Now let's take a look at the worst answers. These are the answers that when our 100 people are writing things down, they all said. They're at the top of everyone's list. You've already heard a couple of these. But the third worst answer was New Zealand. Hannah, you gave us the second worst answer, which is Australia. And then, as if to top you, Sarah, you gave us the worst answer of all, which is the USA. And as so often, if you give the worst 2 answers, you occasionally lose.
Thanks, Richard. Well, Sarah and Hannah, that was your second and final chance on the show. You just didn't have that pointless star on national flag knowledge you needed to get through to the final. But thanks so much for playing. You have been great. For the remaining 3 pairs, though, it's time for round 3. Now, obviously, only 2 pairs make it through to our head-to-head, so this is your final chance. All of you need to find those low-scoring answers to stay in the game. Right, the round 3 category is natural history. Natural history. So who's going to go first? Who's going to go second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. So we gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many BBC nature series written and presented by David Attenborough as they could. Richard, what exactly does that mean?
Yeah, since 1971, David Attenborough has written and presented 14 major TV series for BBC Natural History. We're looking for the most obscure ones of those. So no one-offs, nothing that he's presented but not written, just the 14 major TV series he's done for BBC Natural History.
Oh, that's hard. Now remember, you need to score the fewest points. You need to give the answer that the fewest of our 100 people said. Bearing that in mind, Paul, we are looking for a BBC nature series written and presented by David Attenborough. It's been on TV.
OK, I'm going to go for Blue Planet.
If it's incorrect, it will score the maximum 100 points. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Blue Planet. It's good. Not bad. That means 29 of our 100 people said Blue Planet. Not a bad score to kick us off with, Paul. Sylvia, a BBC TV nature series written and presented by David Attenborough. That's all we want.
Apes in Rwanda. Rwanda.
The Apes in Rwanda show.
No.
Well, let's see how many of our 100 people said Apes in Rwanda. Oh dear, bad luck, Sylvia. Unfortunately, that is a wrong answer, which means you score the maximum 100 points. No apes in Rwanda. On to our next pair, Darren. We are looking for a BBC nature series on TV written and presented by David Attenborough.
I will go with The Life of Mammals.
Life of Mammals, very good. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Life of Mammals. good. Down it goes. Oh, very good. Well played, Darren. That means only 7 of our 100 people said life of mammals. That gives you a lovely low score of 7. Well, we are halfway through the round, so let's see where we are on the scoreboard. Well, they're a wide-ranging bunch of scores. We've got Darren and Craig looking fantastic. They're on 7. Keep up that low scoring, guys, and you'll be through to the next round with no bother at all. Sylvia and Margaret, bad luck, way ahead there on 100. You've got to try and find a really obscure David Attenborough programme if you can on the way back, and hope everyone else scores high. OK, we're going to come back down the line. Can the second players please take their places at the podium? OK, Craig, we are looking for BBC Nature TV series written and presented by David Attenborough. You are currently on 7. The high scorers are Margaret and Sylvia on 100. You want to score 92 or less with this answer to ensure your place in the next round.
I would say Planet Earth.
Planet Earth. There's the magic red line. It's nice and high. If you can get below that red line with Planet Earth, you are definitely through to the next round. Above that red line, you become the new high scorers and could risk elimination. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Planet Earth. It's good. You're through. Very good. How about that? 19 of our 100 people said Planet Earth. That takes your score up to 26. Margaret. You are the high scorers by quite a distance on 100. You've got to see if you can find a really obscure David Attenborough TV series.
I'm going to go with Life on Earth.
Let's see how many of our 100 people have said Life on Earth. This has to be a really low score for you to have any chance of surviving. How many of our 100 people said Life on Earth? It's not bad. It's not bad. That means 26 of our 100 people said Life on Earth. That takes your score up to 126. Will that be enough to save you? I wonder. It's all in Lisa's hands now. You are on 29. To avoid becoming the high scorers and being eliminated from the show, you have to score 96 or less with this answer.
OK, I've got to apologise to Paul then, because we probably will be. I'm not a fan of his, and I don't really watch nature programmes at all. So I'm just going to have to go with Wildlife on 1.
Wildlife on 1. Paul likes Wildlife on 1. If it is, as Paul suspects, a good answer, then it will see you through to the head-to-head. There is your red line. Below that red line, and you are through to the head-to-head round. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Wildlife on 1. It's good. Bad news for Margaret and Sylvia. Down it goes. Look at that. Very good. That means only 4 of our 100 people have said Wildlife on 1. That takes your score up to 33 and sees you comfortably in the head-to-head. So at the end of round 3, the losing pair with the highest score, I'm sorry, it's Sylvia and Margaret. Bad luck. Apes in Rwanda. I bet he did do a thing on apes in Rwanda.
He did.
He just probably, maybe just called it something else. Richard, what else should they have said?
Well, I think that the apes in Rwanda were on Life on Earth. So between you, you're thinking of the same programme, just one of you got the right title. Let's take a look at the least obvious answers. There's one pointless answer, which is Lost World's Vanished Lives, which is his look at fossils. Life in Cold Blood and The Trials of Life. We've already heard all of the most obvious answers. Craig, you gave us Planet Earth. Margaret, you gave us Life on Earth, which was the second most obvious answer. And the most obvious answer of all was from Paul, The Blue Planet.
Thanks very much, Richard. Sylvia and Margaret, that was your second and final chance on the show. I'm afraid you just didn't have that pointless David Attenborough knowledge you needed to win. So we have to say goodbye. But thank you so much for playing. You've been great. Thank you. But for the remaining 2 pairs, things are about to get even more exciting now as we enter the head-to-head. Well done, Darren and Craig, Paul and Lisa. You've made it through to the head-to-head. I think we have an all-Welsh head-to-head here. Very exciting indeed. Right, obviously only one pair can make it through to today's final and play for the jackpot, which currently stands at a massive £6,000. Right, here's how the head-to-head works. You are now allowed to confer. Each team will take turns to give me an answer, and you'll each have an equal number of turns. The first team that accumulates more than 100 points, or the team that goes over 100 by the most, will lose. So, as always, to stay in the game, you want to come up with the facts everyone else forgot and score as few points as possible. Darren and Craig, you've performed best over the first 3 rounds, so not only do you get to decide whether or not you go first, you also get to choose our topic. Very important. And your choice is between international football or the monarchy.
International football?
Okay, go on.
International football, please.
Very good. And would you like to go first or second?
We'll go second, please.
OK. We're going to go for international football, and you're going to go second. Let's play Pointless. OK, let's find out what the question is. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many European Championship finalists as they could. Richard, elaborate.
Yeah, we're looking for any country who's ever made it to the final of a European Championship. It used to be called the European Nations Cup, currently known as the Euros these days. There are 12 teams on the list. Very best of luck to you all.
Very good. Now remember, you don't want to go over 100, so you want to score the lowest number of points each time, and that's by finding those answers that the fewest of our 100 people gave. Well, Darren and Craig, you elected to go second, so Paul and Lisa, you are first up. What are you going to give me for your first answer?
I'm not too sure, but Denmark.
We are looking for European Championship finalists. You're going to give me Denmark as your first answer. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Denmark. It's correct. And it's not bad. Really not bad. That means only 15 of our 100 people said Denmark. That gives you a score of 15. Richard, Denmark.
Yeah, well done. They won it, in fact, in 1992.
Spectacular. OK, Darren and Craig, what are you going to give me? We are looking for European Championship finalists.
We go with Greece, please.
You're going to go with Greece. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Greece. That's another good one. That means 19 of our 100 people said Greece. You've each given me one answer, and the scores are Darren and Craig on 19, Paul and Lisa on 15. Now, Paul and Lisa, you need to be careful. Your next answer could take you over 100 points, and you could therefore be eliminated at the end of the round. What are you going to say? You are currently on 15. To avoid going over 100, you want to score 85 or less. There's your red safety line. If you are below that red safety line, you have avoided going over 100.
Yeah, you don't know, do you?
Well, no, because this is just Paul, because I really haven't got a clue. So we're going to go with Czech Republic.
Czech Republic. Let's see what our 100 people said about the Czech Republic. It's good. It's nice and low. Look at that. That means only 8 of our 100 people said Czech Republic. That takes your total up to a nice and low 23. OK, Darren and Craig, what's your second answer going to be? You are currently on 19. To avoid going over the 100, you have to score 81 or less. You have to come up with an answer that 81 or fewer of our 100 people said.
Can we say Portugal?
Let's see how many of our 100 people said Portugal. It's good. That means 34 of our 100 people said Portugal. You have each given me 2 answers. Paul and Lisa are looking very good on a nice low 23. Darren and Craig, a little bit more vulnerable on 53. Paul and Lisa, we need a third answer from you. We are looking for European Championship finalists.
OK, well, I'm saying it, but he said it. Holland.
Holland. Let's see, how many of our 100 people said Holland? It's good. It's another nice low one. That means 38 of our 100 people said Holland. That takes your total up to 61 after 3 answers. Darren and Craig, your third answer. We want a lovely, obscure European Championship finalist. You have to be careful now. If you score anything over 47 points, you'll be straight off the show.
Can we say Italy?
Let's see how many of our 100 people said Italy. That's correct. You've each had 3 turns, and Darren and Craig, I'm afraid you have gone over 100 points. So I'm sorry to say that means you are off the show. That was tough. I thought you looked like you knew all the answers to that.
Oh, got it.
They were taking the ones we had.
Yeah. And Richard, what answers should they have gone for?
The best thing you could have said would have been Yugoslavia. The next best we already had from Paul and Lisa, which was the Czech Republic, and Belgium, who were the runners-up in 1980. Let's take a look at the most obvious answers you could have given. You avoided all of these, which is very impressive. Spain was the 3rd most obvious, 2nd, France, and whenever you're talking about major football championships, top of the list, Germany.
Thanks very much, Richard. OK, Darren and Craig, you've wasted one of your chances to get to the pointless final. We have to say goodbye for today, but we'll see you next time for your last chance. Thanks so much for playing. Thank you. But for Paul and Lisa, it's time for our pointless final. Congratulations, Paul and Lisa. You've fought off all the competition and you've won our coveted pointless trophy. Oh, yes. Now you've got a chance to win our pointless jackpot. At the end of today's show, the jackpot stands at £6,000. Look at that. Well, the rules are very simple. To win the money, all you have to do is find a pointless answer. That's an answer that none of our 100 people could think of. Now, we've had 2 pointless answers on the show today. Let's just hope you can find one now. First, though, you've got to choose a category from these 3 options, and you can go for Shakespearean characters, Wimbledon, or famous bridges.
Well, I don't know many bridges. There's no point.
Let's go Shakespeare then.
Yeah, we're going to have to go for Shakespeare. I don't know nothing on Shakespeare.
But then our specialised subjects haven't got us very far so far.
Yeah,
so,
well, true, yeah.
So if we do something that we're not sure on, we'll go Shakespearean characters.
So, we gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many characters in Macbeth as they could. Very popular choice over there, I think. Richard?
We're looking for any of the 18 speaking characters in Macbeth that are named in the text or in the margin. If they're known just by a job, such as the porter or the witches, they don't count. It's got to be named characters from Macbeth.
OK, you now have up to 1 minute to come up with 3 answers. Oh, dear. All you need to win that £6,000 is for just one of those answers to be pointless. Your 60 seconds start now.
Right, apart from the 2 obvious ones, do you know any others?
Yeah, witches.
You just said can't have that.
Oh, is it? Oh, right.
It's got to have a name. What's the name of that guy? He rings a bell or something. He knocks the door and...
I don't know.
OK.
This is Macbeth?
We would have Lady Macbeth and Macbeth, but they're going to be really high, aren't they? So...
What about the king? Was it King Lear?
No, that's a different play, King Lear is.
Yeah, but I'm sure he's in that as well.
King Lear is not in Macbeth.
King of Scotland. King of Scotland.
Names, Paul,
I
names.
don't know. Well, King of Scotland is a name.
30 seconds gone.
God. That's the worst Shakespeare play
I know.
to have.
Well, I don't know, Lisa. I'm leaving on to you, because I don't know.
Oh, don't blame me.
10 seconds.
I can't think of names.
Leave it to you. I'm leaving it to you.
Don't blame me.
I'm leaving it to you.
Okay.
OK, your time is up. Lisa, I heard Paul say he's going to leave it to you there. Shall I ask you, what are the 3 character names you're going to give me from Macbeth?
We're going to give you Macbeth.
I think he's in it.
Going to give you Lady Macbeth.
Likewise.
And, oh, I really do know another one.
Like
a ghost of
King of
some...
Scotland. Do the King of Scotland.
Paul's saying King of Scotland.
You're going to say the King of Scotland.
We don't know anybody else, so we just make up a random name and go for King of Scotland.
OK, your 3 answers are... We're going to put them up on the board. Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, and the King of Scotland. We're looking for characters in Macbeth. You've given me Macbeth.
We really don't know. You don't know.
Let's see how many of our 100 people said Macbeth. This has to be a pointless answer if you're going to win that £6,000.
That really is low. Well, we got 16 pounds.
Wow. 61 of our 100 people said that, so unfortunately that's not a pointless answer. You only have 2 more chances to win today's jackpot. We are looking for characters in Macbeth. Let's hope none of our 100 people said your next answer, which is Lady Macbeth. This has to be a pointless answer if you're going to win the jackpot. Well, you never know. You should see the 100 people we clearly asked.
Well, yeah.
Let's see how many of our 100 people said Lady Macbeth. It's looking good for £6,000.
That is
Really very... Well, I'm sorry, that means 34 of our 100 people gave that answer, so I'm afraid that is also not a pointless answer. Your final chance is this King of Scotland. Let's put him up to our 100 people and see how many of them said the King of Scotland. This has to be a pointless answer. It has to be a correct answer. We are looking for characters in Macbeth. This is your final chance to win our jackpot of £6,000.
Oh my God.
Is he?
This is a joke now,
correct.
isn't it?
Down it goes. Look at that. Down it goes. This for Sol.
That was a joke, wasn't it?
Well, unfortunately, you didn't manage to find that all-important, pointless answer, so you don't win today's jackpot of £6,000. However, you do get to take home our pointless trophy. Very good. No, it was a tough category. You either know it or you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very tough. It's very specific.
Yeah.
yeah.
If it'd been a different play, I'd have known it, but Macbeth has not been one of my favourites. I don't like the blood and the gore. If it'd been like a romantic one, I'd have been okay.
No, not one of the big ones.
No.
Richard, Macbeth, what were the characters we were looking for there?
Well, there were 6 pointless answers here. We've got Angus and Caithness, who are both Scottish noblemen. Earl Seward, who's the Earl of Northumberland. And there's 3 others. There's Hecate, who's she's the Queen of the Witches. Menteith, who is another Scottish nobleman. Seaton, who is Macbeth's lieutenant. He was also a pointless answer. If you got any of those, very well done.
Brilliant. Thanks so much. You've been great. So nobody has won our jackpot today, so it rolls over again, which means next time we'll be playing for £7,000. Join us then to see if someone can win it on Pointless. Meanwhile, it's goodbye from Richard.
Goodbye.
And goodbye from me. Goodbye.